All right, hanging with Deez. Here we are. It is almost super wild card weekend time. I'm your host, Deez. With me, as always, of course, Bubba J. We may or may not have some guests tonight. I'm not sure yet. Um, my cousin Dylan, who used to obviously co-host this show, talked about coming on. I don't know if he will or not. If he does, I'll be more than happy to. But in his honor, let's first talk about the where did I? Oh, right here. National champion Michigan Wolverines. Congratulations to all of them, their fans, to Jim Harbaugh. Hell of a game.
Yeah,
Uh, lot of fun to watch. Michigan, you know, they it, they came out and punched him in the mouth,
yep.
and
Just
then
ran all over
offensively,
them.
yeah, offensively they kind of felt like they hit a wall a little bit. But Washington just couldn't really get a whole lot going after that first initial drive where they answered back with a field goal. Then they got the touchdown. I thought, okay, we're going to have a game here. And I even, going into that fourth quarter, as I was texting with him throughout the game, whatever, I kind of felt like if Michigan hadn't put them away yet, that it might get away from them, that Washington might finally start clicking. But man, did their defense answer every time. And then Blake Corum with the big runs there in the fourth.
Right.
And he even told me, he's like, that they've been a fourth quarter team all year, and it proved to be true as they basically ran away with it with some big defensive plays there at the end by their nickel corner, and then the Will, was it Anderson or Robinson? Something
I
like that.
don't
He was the
know.
defensive player of the game.
Right.
And you could have given it to the other corner as well that had that big pick there at the end because he played outstanding. But a hell of a game, and like I said, congratulations to Dylan and all the Michigan fans out there. Um,
Definitely.
I know we've got people from all over, obviously with our Pittsburgh fan base. There's a lot of Pittsburgh, Penn State, that kind of thing, Ohio State. I was having gone to the Michigan game last year, kind of a bandwagon fan for him, especially after all the controversy. Just wanted to see Jim Harbaugh stick it all, stick it to him one last time.
Right.
Now the big,
And the Big Ten getting some recognition. It's always been SEC, ACC. It's nice to get the Big Ten in there with a natty.
yeah, and for all intents and purposes, it was a glorified Big Ten championship because Washington joins the Big Ten next year.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
Both defenses showed up. I thought there'd be more passing on the Michigan side, but only 46 yards rushing for Washington, 303 for Michigan. Um, both of them had 17 first downs, 5 punts. It was just, and if you look at the third downs, Washington was 2 for 14 on third down. Michigan was 1 for 10. So the defenses held their ground. It was a really good game. The score kind of got ran up a little bit, but um, I
yeah,
think
I
Washington
mean,
played.
sorry, you froze there. I didn't know if you were done.
Yeah,
Uh, Washington played a good game. They just could not get the ball across the goal line, and Michigan
right,
made big plays at the end. So, yeah, if you look at it statistics, it looks like it's a much closer game than it was. But,
sure.
like I said, hats off to Michigan, man. Like I said, I was glad to see him do it.
Me too.
Got kind of bored watching the SEC dominate the way that they
Yeah,
have.
and
And
that is probably soon to be over.
well, with the NIL, yeah,
Yeah.
it's things are going to get pretty interesting.
NIL, and then you got
Portal and
big. I think we've talked about this before. It could end up being just a big super conference. The way teams are moving around and NIL deals and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, the landscape of college football is definitely changing,
Sure.
and what we're even looking at right now is probably going to be night and day different from what we're going to see 5 years from now. I think it's going to, with the 12 team going next year, and then you got all this conference shuffling, and eventually I could see them breaking away from the NCAA and forming, a 50 team super league type thing.
Mhm.
There's just so much money there that it would really benefit them a lot more to just break away from all that, do their own TV deals, all that shit. But speaking of SEC, before we get into all of our NFL talk, we can't go this entire show without mentioning what is probably the biggest news of today anyway, and that is the Nick Saban retirement.
He's done.
I mean, can you blame him?
No. I was wondering when it was going to happen. Um, it's kind of weird that it happened this year, um, before the 12 team thing, but maybe he doesn't want to be a part of that. Maybe, maybe he's just tired. It's hard to say. I don't know if he's put a statement out yet or a press conference or not, but
Nothing that I've seen.
I
It's
haven't either.
you know, I got to think that the biggest part of it is everything that's going on with NIL and with the transfer portal, and Nick Saban is what, 71, 72, something like that, 72. Uh, eh, he's done it all. He's basically cemented his place as the greatest college football coach of all time. Why put up with it at 72 years old? Why put up with the kind of, for lack of a better word, attitudes and whatnot that he's going to be putting up with? Like, oh well, you're not going to play me my freshman year. Well, fuck you. I'm going to take this million and go to wherever. It's just that's basically what it's become. It's going to be like free agency every single year. You recruit a 5-star guy, and if he doesn't crack your starting lineup year one, he's going to move on somewhere where he can.
Right.
Look at what Dion is doing in Colorado, and I can't say that I blame these coaches for doing that, because those are the rules in place.
Yep.
Everybody gets to play with the same deck of cards,
Yeah.
so I can't blame him, and
You
I
give you give
likewise
you
can't
give a
blame Nick
player a
Saban.
game,
Yeah.
they're gonna play it. I mean, you can't
You can't blame
expect them not to.
Saban either for just be like, all right, I've done my shit. I'm out.
Right. Yeah, he
So
put out a small statement. Um, Nothing about why or anything like that. Just that, we've enjoyed every minute of our 17 years at Alabama. Um, it's not just about the games we won and lost, it's about the legacy and how we went about it. Always tried to do it the right way and help players create more value for their future. Um,
that,
Blah blah blah.
without saying it, basically says what I said.
Yeah,
Like, we tried to do it the right way, not basically the way that they're letting people do it now, to where you can, for the lack of a better explanation, buy your team now. If you've got the right amount of boosters, the right amount of money, you can go out and get any player you want.
right.
So I'll be interested to see how, if any way, that they figure out how to curtail all of this transfer portal stuff and NIL. I mean, and I know they can't, it's not like they can do a salary cap, but I would think that if they decide to go to this super conference type deal, do their own thing, I think they will basically write it in that something along the lines of, you can transfer, uh, but you're only allowed to do it once, or whatever. They're gonna
Yeah,
have to change
they got
something
to
about
cap
that.
it. They got to put, you have to do 2 years out of school. You can only transfer once. Once you transfer, your eligibility stops. So you get 2 more years after that. That's it. So you're still 5 years. So it's your 2 years plus your transfer year, and then two more, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
what is it? Texas, the Texas A&M or Texas Tech? I believe they got a quarterback that is coming back for his 7th year.
yeah, it's
Like,
it's crazy.
you know, sure, you didn't get to play, be better. Injuries is one thing. You can, I understand an injury thing, but with the transfer, you're on a team, you're 30 when you graduate. Like,
Right. Well,
what are we doing?
and you don't learn the system. You're not there for the guys. You're not there for the game anymore. You know, it's yeah, I understand we're trying, part of the point of college football is to prepare these studs for the NFL. And part of that is the money side and the endorsements and all that jazz. But you're still got to earn your draft spot. You
Yeah.
still have to go play football. And some of these kids are just, well, I was a stud in high school. I'm just going to bounce around from school to school, throw a couple footballs, make a few $1,000,000, and that's going to get me in. It's just not. That's not how it's supposed to be. They got to get the rain. They got to tighten up this leash on this NIL stuff, this transfer stuff, or it's just not going to be. It's not going to be fun to watch anymore. It's going to be, you know, a shit show, as for a lack
Well,
of a
like,
better term.
you get excited. I mean, I don't. I'm not a huge college football fan. I enjoy the game, but I'm not like, a diehard. But you see every year these guys that are, die hard to one school or another, and
Right.
they'll be just super excited about this 5-star recruit they get. But again, if he doesn't
Yeah.
get playing time,
For 1
he's
year,
out.
yeah. Then you buy
He's
a
going to go somewhere
$90
else.
jersey and the guy bounces
Yep.
and he goes to a rival school, and now you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna get messy before it's all said and done.
Yeah. And another big transfer, that defensive back for Alabama just transferred to Kentucky.
Yeah. Yep, you are exactly right, Jake. All right, so sayonara, Nick. As somebody that was sick and tired of seeing Alabama in the goddamn top 3 for the last, I don't know, my entire life, it seems
Yeah.
like.
I'm sick of hearing Roll Tide.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who they tap to be the new guy there.
Fuck Alabama.
Yeah, I'm with it. All right. Well, let's talk about the reason that we're here, and that is the NFL.
The playoffs.
Yeah, we can say it now.
We made it. It's
Yeah.
official.
Yes.
And somehow both our teams made it.
Yes,
Oh,
sir. Yes, sir, we did. Before we get into that, let's
I mean,
just wrap up.
you're already mathematically eliminated from round 2, but
Shut your mouth. Uh, Speaking of mathematics here, look at this math here. After the final week of the regular season, these are the final standings. I took this man to the woodshed.
got my ass kicked. I took some leaps. I took some bumps and bruises, some tough losses, but it was fun.
It was funny because we made all those picks, and that was what? When did we do that? Was it Wednesday last
We
week?
we missed. We had a couple Fridays where we missed the Thursday pick, but
Well, I'm just trying to think of when we actually made last week's picks. I think it was early Wednesday, right? We did the earlier
yeah,
show.
yeah,
Yeah. And so I turn on the TV and all of a sudden so and so's not playing. So and so's not playing. I'm like, oh fuck, man.
yep,
I was like, we made these picks without knowing that Stafford wasn't gonna play.
yeah.
Fucking,
Half of the offense
Flacco
weren't
wasn't gonna
playing.
play.
Yep.
I would have definitely picked Cincinnati had I known that Joe was gonna sit. Um, let's see. I
Right.
probably honestly, I probably would have picked the Niners had I known that Carson Wentz was going to play, although they did get the win there, so I'm thankful for that. But that definitely was changing my thought process on how everything was going. So
Sure.
anyway, so yeah, there's the final standings. Last week I was 10-6, he was 8-8, and we'll wipe the slate clean and see how we do in the playoffs and go from there. But
I've pretty
Speaking of
much already got
playoffs,
my bracket made up.
we're here, baby.
We are.
I know there are fans out there, and one of them I thought was going to be on the show tonight, but I haven't heard back from him, and that is Dynamite Dave from Steel City Renegades. He was a big proponent of us not making the playoffs, and I get why, for the simple fact draft status and everything. But I figured after last week going into that Ravens game, we're already 9-7. It's not like our draft position is going to change too awful much. So fuck it. Let's send it and let's see what happens.
Right.
And we go into Baltimore, and I get it. We played a lot of their backups. But guess what? We're on our fucking third string quarterback.
Yeah.
We're on our like fifth and sixth string safeties.
And if they wanted to keep you out and if they wanted to make a statement, they'd have played them. They'd have played their starters. But they didn't.
Yeah. So we're here. Fuck it. Let's see what we can do and go from there. Losing TJ Watt was just absolutely brutal.
And he's not playing first round.
No, and I think it'll. Well, he was jogging with a pretty brisk pace at practice today, so that's encouraging. If God willing, a miracle occurs and we can get by. But the good news on the flip side is that Minka Fitzpatrick was a full go in practice today. DeMonte Casey, who was unfucking lawfully suspended, is back now.
Agree.
So our secondary gets a hell of a lot healthier going in. As far as TJ Watt being out, we are 1-10 when TJ Watt is not in the lineup. However, the depth that we have now with both Marcus Golden and rookie Nick Herbig is much better than what we've had in previous years. And Highsmith continues to get pressure on the quarterback. He doesn't get all the sacks, but if you look at his QB pressures, I think he had like 69 this year. He only finished with 7 sacks, but he's among the leaders in pressures. A lot of those sacks that TJ gets is because Highsmith flushes him over to his side. Like he's a very good pass rusher. Granted, the other side is not going to be getting doubled and chipped all the time the way TJ was, but I still have more confidence in this group than I would have had in previous years missing TJ.
I don't know. I saw JJ tweet,
Oh, that dirty cock tease.
You think they'd notice?
Yeah. What a tease, man.
I think they'd notice. Could you imagine? I mean, what's the legalities of that? What if they sign him?
He's a free agent.
He is.
He could literally sign.
What could he play on Sunday?
Yeah.
If they sign him right now.
Yeah. He would just have to be on the active roster by Saturday afternoon. It could literally, it won't. I wish it would, but it could literally happen. Like they could sign him. Like, come on, JJ.
Could you imagine that? All 3 Watt brothers on the same team.
Well, Derek's not there anymore. We cut him. He's nowhere. Nobody signed him.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But dude, 15 snaps. That's all we need, JJ.
That's all you need.
15. 20 if you're feeling good, but I'll settle for 10.
3rd and 4th downs.
Right. He's still in tremendous shape. You telling me he couldn't go out there for 10 or 15
go out there,
plays?
If he played next year, he'd be top 10 defensive lineman automatically. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that to me is one of the biggest surprises of the year. I really thought that by mid-season or so, he would be like, all right, you know what? It's almost playoff time. I got the itch. I'm still in shape. Let me just go lace him up one more time with my brother on the other side.
Right.
And let's bang some fucking heads. Like, man.
If Hightower would have got hurt, you might have seen it.
Highsmith. But
Highsmith, whatever.
yeah, well, when Cam went down, I thought that, man, that might be the one where TJ and Tomlin are on the phone every day. Like, dude, come on.
Right.
Just play. You don't have to practice. You can hit the walkthrough on Friday.
Well, and JJ's got that Steeler mentality. I mean, he's
Right.
got that smash mouth, I'm gonna fuck you up type of football that has always been
Absolutely.
Steelers defense.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's my biggest disappointment. But again, playoffs is a new time. No 7 seed in the history of what? Where are we at now? 5 years of this, 4 years of this, 14 team.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not. It might not even be that. It might only be 3 years. But a 7 seed hasn't won yet. Why not us? Why not now? You know what I'm saying?
Because you're playing the red hot Bills and freezing fucking Buffalo.
Okay. However,
It could
Josh
happen.
Allen is
I'm not
still a
saying it can't
turnover
happen.
machine.
If anybody can turn the ball over, it's him.
Yeah. Now, granted,
And any
in the
defense can
clutch,
take it away, it's the Steelers.
he came through, but he turns the ball over, and you cannot do that in playoff
No.
football. Teams are too good. Teams will take advantage. Now, so we got that factor. Here's another little nugget for you. 40-mile-an-hour winds is what they are currently calling for.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, noon our time, 1:00 Eastern for all you guys out there. 40-mile-an-hour winds. So there's probably not going to be a whole lot of passing going on.
Or kicking.
Granted, weather could change, whatever.
So if you're betting on sports books, you better put anytime touchdowns on Najee and James Cook and Jared and Allen, and get your running guys involved in your bets.
Here's another juicy stat for you. The Buffalo Bills rank 28th in yards per carry allowed. So their run defense isn't that great.
No.
Our run rush offense has been pretty goddamn good these last few weeks.
Yeah, the last 5 or 6 weeks, I was just talking about this today. Somebody actually won a bet with it was Isaiah Likely and Najee Harris anytime touchdown. Just those two was a $5 bet, won him $115.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Those two have been lights out the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Right. And for my Naj haters out there, first Steeler in history to have 1,000-yard seasons his first 3 years.
Which is crazy the way that this year started with him.
Yeah, but he did the same thing last year. He got off to a slow start. That's basically how Jaylen Warren became Jaylen Warren.
He's like a steam engine.
Yeah.
He's just
and now with Broderick Jones over on that right side, while Mason Cole is still terrible and Dan Moore is just an absolute fucking liability at left tackle in the pass protection. He almost got Mason killed a couple of times. They are good run blockers, and they've been giving holes. And I don't know, well, you don't watch a lot of Steeler football, but I noticed that they are doing a lot more of either pistol or even a shotgun immediate handoff rather than the delay shit. And that's where Najee really shines. Get him head of steam right up the gut, let him break the first tackle, and then drag a guy. Then you bring Jaylen in to, give you the lightning. Although Jaylen struggled mightily in that weather. He could not hang on to the football. I'm glad they pulled him when they did, because that was going to be disastrous. Even when he didn't fumble, there were a couple times where he kind of lost the ball to himself and was able to get it back. I think it got into his head. So hopefully he can get all that shit out of his head. Got a cat trying to rip down my curtain here. So again, 28th is where they rank. Now, granted, we only rank 21st. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of ground and pound this week. With our two-headed monster, with their two-headed monster being Josh Allen and James Cook. Um, don't expect a whole lot out of the passing game on either side. Very happy though that if we do have to throw the ball, it's going to be Mason Rudolph doing the throwing. And again, it's Wednesday. Who knows what the weather is actually going to do come Saturday? It might only be 10 miles an hour, and then we're probably fucked. But at least I feel a lot better about having Minka back, having Casey back, might even have Trenton Thompson back. So that'll give us a full complement of safeties back there. And there is a shot. I have not read further upon it, but I did see an article that Gabe Davis might not be ready to go for the
Yeah,
Bills.
I saw that. But I mean, he's a big part of their offense. But they still got weapons. They got Diggs and Knox and Cook and
The tight
uh,
ends scare me the most because
yeah,
that's who have been killing us.
Kincaid. Yeah,
Yeah, you got Kincaid and Knox are the two. Kincaid especially, he's really starting to come on here
yeah,
towards the end of the year. And tight ends have hurt us all year, especially with our inside linebackers being so banged up. Um, so if Buffalo is going to do anything in the passing game, I think that's going to be where they're going to hurt us the
yeah,
most.
and with the weather, and if it's cold and windy, those short
Short, yeah,
slants,
jump
those short
offs.
jump offs to tight ends are going to be crucial. Which it's going to have to be the same for the Steelers. So Pete's going to have to get involved. Naj's going to have to get involved. Warren's going to have to get involved. So,
Yep,
I
yep.
mean,
Gonna
I
be
would.
old school playoff football.
I mean, and it could be the complete opposite. I've predicted this before. It was going to be, in a game earlier this year that was going to be like that, and then all of a sudden, here you go scoring 21 points in the first quarter. So, I think George is going to have a slow game. I think it's going to be your short dumps and your runs and your screens and your flats and people running the ball. It's going to be
Yeah.
cold weather, smash mouth, one at the line of scrimmage football game.
Speaking of George, hats off to that man. He was not targeted a single time. He had one carry for a big first down on a jet sweep. But man, he was right there. He basically chased Deontay down to the end zone. It seems like I don't want to speculate, but it seems like he's a much, much happier person now that he's got a different quarterback. Again, I don't know that that's the one true reason, or maybe shit just finally clicked and he's put his hand in the pile for this team first attitude. But I love it. Like that's the George Pickens I want.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he got his hand slapped too
And
for
rightfully so.
acting like a fool.
Yeah, rightfully so. Um, Now, before we go into the rest of the playoff picture, Black Monday has come and went. And big shocker today, Pete Carroll steps down as the Seahawks coach.
Yeah,
Um,
I was not expecting that at all.
no, I wasn't either. Now, do you think that is a Pete Carroll decided to step away, or Pete Carroll was told, hey, it's, you can go out high on the horse here. We'll keep you on as an advisor. We want you to be part of this team.
Statements. I know what the statement says. Um, and after seeing Pete highlights this year, I think everybody's seen the highlight of him throwing dimes on the practice
Yeah.
field. He's always running up and down the sideline. I don't think it was as mutual as he made it out to be.
Right.
Which is scary because he's probably one of the best coaches to coach the game of football at any level.
Agreed. Yeah. Hard to argue with somebody who's won a natty both in college
Right.
and profession.
But to be going to the front office in some sort of executive role, it obviously shows you the respect that he has in that organization. And the fact that they still want him around to make decisions for the team. So I mean, I think he might have been kind of forced out of the coaching role, but I don't think he was too against it. I definitely don't think he went to his boss and said, "Hey, I'm done coaching. Let's make this sound like it was mutual." But I don't think it was. I think it was a long conversation. Hey, coach, you know, we want to go a different way, but we won't if you don't want to. But this is what we're offering.
Right. Yeah.
Because you
Again,
just don't fire Pete Carroll in his 70s after the season he had, which was a decent season.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it ended on
With
a disappointing note because they missed the
right
playoffs, but they were
with a
still in it.
quarterback that no one really knew how he was going to do the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The big Russell trade, you know, eh, you just don't fire a guy like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a shock, but a bigger shock to me was Tennessee firing Mike Vrabel.
Oh, for sure. I
And
knew. I mean,
he's going to be able to go wherever the hell he wants.
yep. He's like you said earlier, blank check. Someone give him a blank check and the keys to the house because he's gonna win you games. He's gonna
Yeah.
get you to the playoffs. He's gonna bring studs to your team. It's gonna happen.
And now everybody is speculating as far as what's going to happen with Belichick.
Yep.
Supposedly he's been meeting with the Crafts this week. I got to imagine that we're going to know something before the end of the week. I mean, if you're the Patriots, you definitely want to move quick,
Sure.
especially if you want to bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel, who they literally put in their Hall of Honor or
Right.
Ring of Honor, whatever, this season.
Yep.
And then, of course, like I text you, we've got rumors from guys like Jay Glazer and a couple others in and around Pittsburgh saying that Mike Tomlin could potentially go ahead and sit next season out and take a year off and come back somewhere else. So
Yep.
uh, I would definitely like to bring Vrabel home, who started his career in Pittsburgh before he went to New England and did all that shit and scored touchdowns and Super Bowls. Um, but again, New
Yeah. It's
England, I think, is the definite front runner to get him. Should they move on from Belichick?
yeah,
And
and
they'd be
I don't think Vrabel takes any other position but a head coach. I don't think he comes
no,
back with.
no,
I
no,
don't think
no,
he comes back with a Belichick.
no chance.
Even though Belichick is taking, he has agreed to take less of a role um, and just be a coach. Be less involved in
But did
everything
he?
else. Well, I mean,
I know what he said.
he said, "I'm under contract,
Yeah,
and I will do what's best for the team and what the team
I
needs."
mean,
You can only take a guy at what he says until it happens.
yeah.
So, again,
I'm
I
interested
don't
to
think it
see
was
what.
mutual. I
Yeah,
don't think it was, you know, hey, Mr. Kraft, I would like to have less responsibility in a dynasty that I built. But
yeah. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks coming up here,
who
just
knows?
on the coaching carousel. Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
it
I
was
don't think he had
kind.
coaches in a long time. I think he goes back to coordinating at best.
Yeah, I mean his misuse of Bijan Robinson and
It was just terrible.
the tight end. I you
Kyle
know
Pitts.
somebody maybe a Carolina takes a chance on him, but
No,
probably
nope,
not.
nope.
Uh,
He's OC at best anywhere he goes. I wouldn't doubt if he's a quarterbacks coach or a tight end coach or a special teams coach.
yeah, the Giants have fired their defensive coordinator, Wick Martindale.
He
The
stormed out of a meeting today
Yeah,
and got on a plane to Florida.
yeah, yeah. I'd say that meeting didn't go well.
No,
The Bears are basically cleaning house, with the exception of Eberflus.
which is ridiculous. What in the world? You're going to fire your entire offensive staff,
And defensive, if I'm not mistaken.
their OC, their quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, and running back coach. they've already fired their defensive coordinator
Oh, that's right.
and their defensive lineman coach earlier in the year because of some scandal thing that was going on that was hush
Yep,
hush.
yep, yep,
We still
yep.
don't know about. That was already gone. So what the fuck are you gonna do? He doesn't have any guys. Who's he gonna bring in?
So now
Arthur
you got
Smith, Ron
yeah,
Rivera.
and now you got a decision to make. Are you bringing in are you bringing back Justin Fields and giving him a whole new system to learn, or are you going to get what you can get for Justin Fields and start fresh with everything? Restart your quarterback contract cycle with a brand new offensive coordinator, offensive system, and build him in. You know, Jake, you're here, and Nicole, yes, I see you. Hi, babe. Uh, Jake, what would you like to see them do as far as Justin Fields goes? Because you're gonna have to pay that man something here real soon,
The
or you
going
start the cycle over with a brand
the
new
going rate for a
system.
franchise quarterback right now is $40 million a year.
Yeah, but
And
he's not gonna see that kind of
Justin
money.
Fields ain't worth the fucking shit I wipe my ass with.
Ah, he's played really well since he came back from injury. You got to give him
No,
credit.
I'm not.
Well,
Absolutely not. He's
you
not a
would be
franchise
wrong.
quarterback. He's no.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's fucking Lamar Jackson, but it's not like he's had a plethora of weapons to throw the ball to. This year he had DJ Moore, and that's about it. Yeah, I think I would probably lean that way too, to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
completely honest with you.
if I was the Bears, I'd keep him too, but I don't want him. I mean, you're not going to get nothing for him
The speculation is on the high side a second, but probably a third.
at best.
I mean, I would
And
kick the
this is what his
tires on it.
third. This is third season.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
kick the tires for a third round pick on Justin Fields as a Steeler fan going into next season with as of right now, Trubisky's fucking gone. Kenny's
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be back. And who knows with Mason, whether we want to bring him back or not. Like I said last week, he might not want to come back after everything that he's been through
Yeah,
with Pittsburgh.
and he might get a deal somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he could go to Washington. He could, there's a lot of people out there,
Yeah.
and Mason knows that he is basically playing for his NFL life right now.
Yep.
And at the very least, he's
England
going to
needs a
have
quarterback.
Denver needs a quarterback, probably. Although I don't, they were talking today and left the door open to bring Russ back. If
I
I'm
saw. I don't think there was any. I don't think it held any water, but I did see some. It was on Facebook a few days ago that they were going to release Russ the source.
well, if they
And
do, it's an $85 million cap hit.
yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, but it's for one. I think they're much better off, in my opinion, of ripping the Band-Aid off, sucking next year, because again, $85 million on your cap already for a guy that isn't going to be there. But then it's clear. Whereas if they cut him, I think it's later in the year,
June or something,
it becomes 2 years and it just drags on. So I say if you're really wanting to start life without Russ, you rip the Band-Aid off.
just do it now.
Yeah. So there's a potential landing spot for Mason. Yeah, New England's taking a quarterback 100%. They're going to get one of those top guys with the number 3 pick.
New England, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, and I know it was just one game against a whole season of him playing well, but I am a lot lower on Michael Penix Jr. right now than I was prior to that national championship game. He did not look very good. There were a lot of
No, but that
missed
Michigan
calls.
defense looked good.
True, but again, guess what? When he gets to the NFL, every week he's playing all-star teams as far as colleges. He's not just playing Michigan, he's playing the best that came out of college every single week. So, and yeah, he has shown that he does get banged up a lot. So, I think his stock may have took a hit. Now, he could probably get that back with uh a strong combine and or pro day performance, but coaches are going to be looking at that tape, against a top-notch defense and how he folded under pressure.
Yep.
Say what you want about Michigan's defense. If you're the guy at quarterback, that's one of the things that they're going to look at is, was he able to rise above all that shit and make it happen? And he wasn't. So it could hurt his draft stock, and maybe another guy moves up, whether it be Jaden Daniels or Drake May is probably above Penix anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
What's JJ McCarthy going to do? It's going to be an interesting quarterback draft class. That is for damn sure.
Oh, for sure. And it all depends on where coaches land too, or who they're going to pick. I mean, it's
Bo Nix. That's another
Las
big
Vegas
one.
Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, the Commanders, now Seahawks, the Chargers, of course, and then the Falcons.
As far as what? Oh, the draft order?
Head coach openings.
Say them again. You cut out.
You got the Panthers, the Raiders, Titans, Commanders, Seahawks, Chargers, and Falcons.
Yeah. I got a feeling the Raiders are gonna just go ahead and give it to AP.
They should.
I agree. Even though Harbaugh is tied to him right now.
And what quarterback? I mean, they got that 8 and something.
8, yeah, I'm not.
That's
I'm not
not
really
the future of the Raiders.
No, I'm not sold on that.
So what do they go after Rudolph? Do they try to? I mean, I'm not sure what their draft spot is. I would assume it's somewhere around the top 10.
Yeah.
Do they maybe trade up for?
You can get a good quarterback at 10. There's a lot of them there.
You could, sure. But do they want the future? Do they want a Drake May? Do they want, are they gonna trade up that high? It's hard to tell. I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. But I did see Kellen Moore interviewed for the head coach job at the Chargers.
Yeah. And you mentioned his name, I think in text, but you were talking about Dan Quinn. Isn't he a Cowboy? Isn't he the Cowboys DC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's probably Seattle's next head coach.
He's been invited a couple places already, just like he was invited a few places last year.
Yeah, but he's got ties to both Pete Carroll and Seattle.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean he's got ties a couple different places. He makes a great coach, a great head coach. I do like that last year he said that he didn't want to go anywhere because he didn't want anybody else coaching these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake, you got that shit right. Draft a North Carolina quarterback at number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that worthless son of a bitch, we're 10-7 instead of 12-5.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope he stays. I would hate to think who McCarthy or Jerry would bring in as the DC instead. Yeah, I mean, I'm not privy to all the defensive coordinators, all the defensive minds in football that are out there. I'm not saying Dan Quinn's the best, but he's damn good. But
yeah, and that system, I mean, he's been there quite a while now, hasn't he?
He's been there quite a while, yeah.
Something like that, I would assume that you would hire from within. somebody that, to keep the system the way it is, somebody that's
Yeah,
been there.
and our defensive backs coach, he's there's talks that he could be a DC somewhere very soon. If that's maybe a move up for him if Dan Quinn does leave. At least it's the same system. He knows the guys. He has a good.
Yeah. You
He's a
you
former
inherit
player,
Micah Parsons.
right? So I don't know. All I know is Jake. We got to kick the shit out of the Packers, and we're gonna do it with our defense.
Jordan Love's tough.
He's tough, but
Been
I
playing
don't
very
think
well.
he's in for a treat.
All right. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into it. It's playoff picks time.
Uh-oh.
And we are going to kick it off on Saturday at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern, with the Cleveland Browns traveling to NRG Field to take on the AFC South champion Houston Texans. Rookie quarterback, rookie head coach in the playoffs, hosting a game at 10-7. The Texans are 6-3 at home. The Browns are 3-5 on the road. Browns are on their fourth starting quarterback for the year in Joe Flacco, who has looked amazing.
He's tearing it up.
But CJ Stroud has absolutely lit it up. I mean, there is just give him the goddamn rookie of the year trophy now because it's over.
Yeah, I mean, who else would be in the running?
Yeah,
Jahmyr Gibbs maybe is a close second.
Yeah, but it's not going to be close. He'll get votes, but
Sure.
there'll be second and third place votes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, unless it's a Detroit sports writer that's voting on it, I can't imagine him getting any.
Well, I can't think of anybody else.
No, not on the offensive side.
Not
that's
done what he's done with the team that he's done it with.
Yeah.
With major injuries at the wide receiver position, a rookie quarterback with a rookie head coach, they did amazing stuff. The numbers he put up, records he broke. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. He should be a lock for rookie of the year.
So, the current spread, according to ESPN Bet, is Cleveland a 2.5 point favorite. Bryce Young. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Over under is 44.5.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, I think I probably would too.
I'd take the over.
Now,
both teams
how is a rookie quarterback going to perform on the big stage is the big question. Granted, he's been in some big college games.
I think he does well. I would like to see him have a career day. I really would. Just to solidify his rookie of the year performance. But it's hard telling. I haven't looked at their injury report. I don't know if they got their receivers back or which ones they got back, who's healthy.
I believe I saw that the Browns are getting Cooper back.
I probably should, since we're picking. At least look at the injury report anyway.
Might be helpful.
Amari Cooper did not practice. Geez, that's a lot of Browns. Noah Brown did not practice. Robert Woods was limited.
According to ESPN, Browns Amari Cooper ready to return for round 2 versus the Texans. A 5-time Pro Bowl selection confirmed Wednesday. He's ready to play after sitting the past 2 games with a heel injury. So
good.
They probably just gave him a rest day today.
Probably. Yeah, because Njoku was limited. Kareem Hunt was limited. Myles Garrett was limited.
Last time Cooper played against the Texans back on Christmas Eve, he had 11 catches, 2 touchdowns, 265 receiving yards.
Yeah, he went off from my fantasy team.
I am going to predict that Houston is probably going to pay a little more attention to him this time.
Well, I mean, it should be at least a film session on how they got spanked by one guy.
Yeah, 36-22, Cleveland won that game.
Yeah. And Cleveland's going to win this one again. I don't think it's as big of a margin. I think they cover the spread. I think they win the game. And I still think Shroud's going to have a hell of a game, but he's just going to fall short. It's just the Browns' year, man. Everything's going wrong, and they're still winning games. The Browns are browning, but they're winning. Give me the dogs, man. Give me the dogs.
I'm going to base this pick off of one thing that I saw this week. Monday on the Pat McAfee show. CJ Stroud was on the show. And they were talking to somebody earlier in the show, and they basically said that, they've gotten 0 chance against Cleveland. And you ever just look at somebody and see the expression on their face and just be like, he's not fucking around.
Right.
And that was the look that CJ Stroud had. He's like, really? They said that? All right, bet.
Sure.
Right as he was leaving. I fucking hate Ohio State.
With a passion.
But I want a guy like that. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. Like, okay, doubt me. See what happens.
Give me the Texans. Monster upset, Cinderella story.
And we officially have our first split already. I think there'll be a couple of them, actually.
Yeah, I think there's just going to be some late game magic, and I think CJ is going to pull them through.
That's what makes this show entertaining for me and you, and the 3 other people that kind of listen to us be stupid. But yeah.
And then for the lucky folks that have Peacock, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
Look, I have it.
I have it.
But I hope people don't go out and get it for this, because it's just going to set a bad precedent. We're already heading towards everything being on stream that you're going to have to pay for. Let's not hurry the decision.
Right.
The Dolphins traveling to Kansas City, taking on the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill comes home. Kansas City's 4.5-point favorites, over under 44.5. The weather is expected to be fucking cold. I believe right now they are calling for -1 at kickoff, which does not bode well for a team that makes its home in Miami.
Nope. And they could have played in Miami if they'd have just won last week.
Yeah. A team that is built on speed. If you got that injury report pulled up, see what it says about Waddle and Mostert.
Yeah.
Because I think they might have won last week if they had those guys.
Waddle and Mostert were both limited today, so they did practice. A chain practiced. Tyreek Hill practiced. Xavier Howard did not practice, their corner, and Jalen Ramsey did practice.
And the Chiefs, I think everybody can agree, the Chiefs have not been the Chiefs this year. They are
No.
struggling mightily. They do not have any big playmakers short of Travis Kelce.
Yep.
But man, it's going to be fucking cold.
All the receivers were full or limited. Pacheco was a full participant. He's going to be a big factor in this game. They would bode well to write Tony completely out of the game plan.
Yeah.
This is playoff football now. We cannot be having these drops, even though they're all drops. The Chiefs have the most drops passes in the league this year.
Yeah. Can't have that in playoff time.
But it's Andy Reid, it's Patty Mahomes, it's in Arrowhead.
Coming in rested.
Cold. They're rested. The Chiefs are winning this game by 10, at least.
I don't know that I would go that far, but I am going to take the Chiefs. I won't be surprised, though, if McDaniel has a few surprises, especially if Waddle and Mostert are able to play. Then it could get interesting.
It could.
If it gets
especially
into that,
Mostert plays. If Mostert plays, I mean, you can get Waddle on them jet sweeps and stuff. Because again, I think it's going to be another cold. Not going to be throwing the ball much. And if you do, you better hold on to it because it's going to be hard as a rock and your hands are cold.
Yeah.
But
those hits hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, Mostert's a game changer when he's on the field. And so is a Chine, Atchin, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, A-Chain, I think.
Yeah, A Chan.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're both taking the Chiefs there.
Yep.
Then we move on to a very full. No, we do have a Monday nighter. 3 games on Sunday,
starting at noon.
Yes, they do start at noon. But we're going to pick the night game first.
Okay.
The Rams and the Lions. Talk about a story.
Man. Stafford back in Detroit, the first playoff game in Ford Field. The Rams have a very small injury report. 6 guys.
And they are, they're coming in hot.
They're healthy. They're good.
Detroit is 3-point favorite, over under 51.5.
And losing Sam Laporta is huge, even though I did hear a thing today that he is planning on playing, barring any setbacks. So
as much as I hate to do this because they would be probably of the playoff field, my pick, something tells me that Matt is going to break their hearts. The Lions have been a bit inconsistent, although they should have won that game that they were absolutely fucked out of against Dallas. Oh man, these are tough games, man.
They are. That's why it's the playoffs, man. You got to. I only think there's, in my opinion.
I'm not going to give up on them. Give me the Lions.
You got the Lions?
I think old Motor City Dan is gonna have them boys up, and that crowd is gonna be just ape shit. I think they're gonna win. I think it's gonna be very close, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions.
I think I would rather. I think I would rather play the Lions if the Cowboys win their game again than the Rams because the Rams are hot. Um, and you got Cup and Nakua and of course Matt Stafford. Um, but man, they've been so good lately. I got to take the Rams. They're on a tear.
All right, we split again.
I don't know. I'm not super confident in that pick, by the way, but
Yeah, me neither.
it sounds good because they are playing very good. Their team is full and healthy, and that's what it takes. And when you're in the playoffs, you're in the when you're hot at the right moment, you win championships.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the last 18 weeks now. None of that shit matters anymore. The hot teams right now are going to win.
Teams that have won 3 straight. Teams that have found their running game. Teams that have been inspired by a new/old quarterback that has put the team on his back. We'll get to that. 3:30. The Green Bay Packers travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Jordan Love coming in hot. But
the Cowboys are hot too, man.
The Cowboys are hot, and the Cowboys have not lost at home this year. And while I think Green Bay is going to give them all that they want, I gotta take the home team here.
It's hard to bet against the Cowboys at home this year. Green Bay is going to give it to us. I really do. I think it's going to be a pretty tough matchup. I just don't think Green Bay's experienced enough. I don't think they're coached as well. Even though, what's his face? Damn it, what's his name? Green Bay's coach.
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur is a damn good coach. Very good. There's just something about McCarthy playing his old team. We haven't lost at home. Dak is playing his best football. CeeDee Lamb's breaking records. We have the best kicker in the league if he doesn't get one blocked again. That pass rush is something else. I'm picking the boys.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. I love playoff football. And I actually have confidence that we're not going to lose in the first fucking round this time, like we always do. And if we win this one, we play at home again against either the Rams or the Lions.
Yeah. And Monday night, that's right, saving them for last. Monday night.
This isn't the fucking Steelers show.
Kinda. Eagles and Bucks at NFC South champion Tampa Bay. I have absolutely zero faith in the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
That makes two of us, buddy. I just said it. When teams are hot, they're hot, and when they're not, they're not.
Yeah, I picked them to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't remember. I don't remember if I stuck with them when we did our redo.
They have the team to do it.
But yeah, they are literally crawling to the finish line right now, and Baker Mayfield is playing out of his mind.
And they were embarrassed by the Giants.
Yeah. I can't in good faith pick the Eagles in this game. I can't. You gotta give me Tampa.
Lights out. The Bucks are playing ball, man. That running back they got was on my fantasy team all year. Was in my flex spot last 9 weeks and got me 15 points average. The dude scores touchdowns. The Bucks win games, and they're going to win this one. It's going to be a huge upset. I love it.
I wouldn't call it a huge upset. Philly's
Well,
only a 3-point.
But from the way the regular season was,
Well,
who
yeah,
the Eagles are, who the Bucks are,
who
to
we
the
thought
world, the
these
football
teams
world,
were going to be.
it would be an upset.
Yeah. Not on the same. I would not at all be surprised if they flipped the switch and all of a sudden they look like the Eagles again. But I've seen nothing that is convincing me, especially if AJ Brown is out. And I don't know what his injury status was, but it didn't look good when he went down.
No, it did not. And of course, they don't have to report till tomorrow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got to take Tampa here.
Yep.
And that brings us to...
They're in Florida too, so.
Yeah. Sunday at noon in predicted 40-mile-an-hour winds. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Jake, say it with me.
Snuck into the playoffs.
2, 3. Buffalo.
Take on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen.
The turnover
Stephon
king.
Diggs, yes.
There he is.
28th in yards per carry allowed for the Buffalo Bills in a game that, as of right now, according to the weather, should not be decided through the air. At least I wouldn't think it. Both Mason and Josh Allen have, nice, deep passing ability, but I don't think that's going to be a huge factor unless, if you got the wind at your back, who knows, but then you worry about overthrowing them, whatever. Pittsburgh's running game coming in super fucking hot right now, but so is Buffalo. Since they fired Ken Dorsey, James Cook has been an animal.
James Cook is nuts, man.
The spread is 10 points. The over-under is 36.5.
The spread is 10.
I am looking. Yeah. I am looking into my crystal balls, and I'm seeing a final score of 19-17. Buffalo.
No! He picked against his own team in the playoffs.
Again, that 10 points, I think people are fucking high if they think that. I just can't see Buffalo blowing us out. They not in this weather, not the way our rushing game is. But I won't be mad, nor will I be surprised if Pittsburgh finds a way. If they do find a way, they will probably put a statue up of fucking Mason Rudolph if he has anything to do with the win.
Sure.
And as much as I want to be rah-rah and pick my boys, no TJ Watt is going to hurt immensely. 7 seeds haven't won yet. Buffalo is very, it's a hard place to win, although I think we will be very well represented there as far as Steeler fans.
And the Bills are hot, man, from 6-6, from 6-6 to 11-6.
Yeah. Well, we're not exactly coming in cold, but
no, again, you're doing well.
I think the difference is going to be those tight ends. That they've been killing us as of late.
I'm definitely picking, if the spread's still 10 on Sunday, I'm definitely picking the Steelers
to bet on. Yeah. For sure.
Line. There's no way. I don't think the Bills are going to cover 10 points.
I don't see it either. But I'll say this. If first half Josh Allen rears his head in this game against a team that I don't know if they finished the league in the lead, but I know we're in like the top 3 as far as turnover margin. If Josh Allen turns the ball over 2 or 3 times, don't be surprised.
Oh yeah, I mean 10 points is huge. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
that's one bad pick on your wrong side of the 40 that's going in the end zone. And it's
and I got news for you. If Buffalo slips here and Pittsburgh wins, Baltimore don't want no part of Pittsburgh in round 2. They'll say whatever the fuck they're going to say. They don't want to see a division rival
and
coming
TJ
in
will probably
hot.
be back by then.
Yeah, I think he will. Just judging by what I saw on the practice field today with him running, you slap a brace on him, he'll be there. Um, yeah, and I don't think Baltimore wants any part of Cleveland either. You know, the last thing you want to see is
Well,
a
yeah,
division
you don't want
rival.
division guys in in the playoffs. You don't want to see them.
My heart
Just like
obviously says Pittsburgh, but
we can't see a Lions Packers playoff. That
it,
can't happen.
it's really fucking hard to argue against 1-10, and that is Pittsburgh's record without TJ Watt since he's entered the
Mhm.
league. But god damn, am I going to be happy if they pull it off?
Oh,
And they're
sure.
and well, I won't even say what, but yeah. Sorry, Pittsburgh. There's no bigger fan than me, but I have to think with my head
Yeah,
here.
you got to be real sometimes.
Yeah. Uh, Interested to see what, if anything, is going to come of this Mike Tomlin rumor, and how quickly that decision will be made if there is a decision to be made. But yeah, as much as I don't want to start our off season, I just think we've had too much to overcome with the injuries to middle linebacker and safety and everything else. But we'll see. Hopefully, they go in with the mindset that nobody's giving them a shot. And yeah, that broke my heart to have to say that. But
I'm sure it did. It shocked me. It really did. I thought you were gonna squeak another one of them last second field goal wins in the snow, blowing snow and cold for the Steelers to go to round 2 and bring TJ Watt back for Baltimore, but you surprised me.
yeah,
You
I got a feeling it's going to be.
used your head and not your heart. I love it.
I feel like it's going to end that way, though.
It could, yeah. Oh, it very well could.
Whether it
Yep.
is whether it's Buffalo making a field goal at the end to win it, or
Pittsburgh missing one
yeah,
to
just
lose by
with
one.
the win, and as much as Boz, in my
Yeah,
opinion, is probably the number 2 or at worst 3 kicker in the league, 40-mile-an-hour winds.
that's
You
tough
know,
for any kicker.
who knows? Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yep. So,
Well, let's
but
run them back.
I hope I'm wrong.
Crazy wild card weekend. You took the Texans at home. I took the Browns. We both took the Chiefs. You've got the Lions over the Rams at home, and I think Stafford's going to come in and beat his old team to advance to the second round. Then we both have the Cowboys beating the Packers at AT&T Stadium. We have the Bucks with the Eagles, and we both have the Bills winning the Snow Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's not supposed to be any snow.
Well, it's going to feel like snow.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, just
The
wind.
Ice Bowl.
But again, it's Wednesday. That shit could all change, and it'll probably be fucking sunny and 5-mile-an-hour winds, and
Doubt it.
but Don't
It's
let
Northwest
us
New York in January. So
don't let us get out of there with a win is all I'm gonna say, because then it's on. TJ's back, playoff football. Then we knock Baltimore off. Then we beat the dog shit out of the Chiefs. Just saying.
keep smoking that shit, buddy, because that ain't happening.
So there you have it. All right. Well, that'll go ahead and wrap it up. We will definitely be back here middle of next week. Who knows? You might see me pop on over the weekend as we're watching football. I won't be on during the game. I can guarantee you that. I will but depending on how things go and what happens in said games, I might jump on during the Rams Lions game to talk about the other games. And if you're around, you can do that as well.
Yeah, I got to work this weekend, so I'll be watching on my phone.
Right on.
But we will be cheering on nonetheless.
Yeah. If you're just now joining us, we're getting ready to sign off, but make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning. Pretty good show. Watch it on YouTube, watch it on Facebook, wherever the case may be. New show this week for the Aldonzo and Deez show. Coming up Saturday, 9 a.m. on cities929.com. And that'll do it, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
See y'all later.
See ya.
Peace.